Okay, so a huge welcome to week 3. Let me just skip through. Oh, God. I thought I'd started it from the right side. It's gone all the way from the beginning. So welcome to week 3 of the Awaken program. Here we are, just a little recap from the last week. So this week, we're going to be deep diving into connection, into the connecting piece. And we're going to be starting by looking at your soul values. So just before we do get started, I would love to know who has done like a values elicitation, who has drawn their values out from themselves, whether that is with a coach or maybe an exercise at work, something like that. Yeah, I can see some thumbs up. If not, also comment. And of course, if you're watching it back on replay. The good thing is it's actually something that I would recommend doing at least annually. And in the academy, and in particular with clients, I actually recommend doing it every 6 months. They say on average, I'm pretty sure we cover this, but I'm pretty sure that it's every 5 months on average, we go through a significant emotional change in life. That could be a loss, a birth, a promotion, a moving house, a new dog, new neighbors, something that brings in a little bit of an upturn in our emotional systems. So checking in with our values is so important to do because they are your internal navigation system. So what I'm hoping that you have in front of you is this week's workbook. If you're like myself, I've just got a little digital copy here. If you have got a digital one, please make sure that you've got a notebook because we're definitely going to be taking lots of notes today and there's quite a few exercises for us to go through. So your values are a fundamental part of who you are. They highlight what you stand for and they represent your unique individual essence. There is no right and wrong values to have. One thing that we are going to be checking in with throughout, and this is just something to bear in mind, is are they your values? Now, I know it might sound a little bit strange, but something that can happen, especially during our imprint stage between the age of 0 to 7, is we are sponges picking up everything from around us. And if you got brought up in an environment where there was very particular ways in which things were done, particular values, for example, around religion, vegetarian, vegans, meat, there's so many different little elements that you can pick up on. Some absolutely fantastic and they have served you incredibly well. But one thing that we do want to make sure as you are going through this is just to bear in mind, are these mine? And I'm going to share with you just a little story about someone who recently got back in touch with me that I worked with about just over 2 years ago. A lovely lady who was coming towards the end of her university degree to going through the very first stages of becoming a doctor. That was what her father wanted for her. That was what she felt she wanted for her. All of her family had become dentists, doctors, lawyers, and it was almost just expected. She hadn't given much time to think outside of that. And she was about 4 years in and had to make the decision on which part to go down next at university. But the anxiety she was having about making the decision kept her up at night. It started to make her poorly. She wasn't eating properly. She wasn't able to communicate this. And she actually came to me to manage anxiety. We did our values and then we looked at the Wheel of Life, which is what we're going to be coming on to. And where we noticed a huge gap was not only in her personal, her brightness of life, but also the idea of the career which she was going into. After a little bit of diving, it wasn't actually what she wanted to do. And it took her a while to even explore that option. So you can imagine it from a coach point of view as well. It's one of those where it's like, oh, okay, this is something that I'm going to have to help her navigate through, completely be guided by her. And conversations happened. We recognized what it was she was really drawn to do. And it was around mental health, only not from a doctor's point of view. She was really intrigued about going into companies and working with teams of people on mental health and the structure behind positivity and positive psychology. And she actually realized she didn't want to be at uni at all. She wasn't enjoying it. So she left. Big decision. She left, and she sent me a little package and a card, and it brought so many tears to my eyes. And coming up to 2 years to the day, she just landed her dream job working in a pretty big corporate company, facilitating their mental health and well-being programs that she is writing herself. She has basically created this career that at the time it almost wasn't there. She went and volunteered in certain places. She got a job in the meantime. And the thing that we focused on, and it's on this little charm thing which she's got us, and it just says faith. And the thing that we had to keep homing in on was faith over fear. And the biggest driver for her now being so happy was she followed her values. She recognized that how she was going through life, it wasn't aligned with what she wanted to do. So there's just like one example of the power of trusting, having faith that actually, if it's aligned with you and your values, something out there is meaning for you, that there is a way to bring that into your life and feel fulfilled. So when you honor and align your actions and behaviors with your personal soul values, you will experience true fulfillment. And what we're also going to be looking at is not just the airy-fairy, what does be feeling fulfilled look like for you? We're actually going to be having a little look at maybe what your values are and where are they not being met. You may see a direct correlation in the areas of your life where you're not fully satisfied or feeling like you're struggling or a little bit lost. And then there may be a value which isn't being met. So I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but I love this quote by Elvis Presley, of all people. Values are like fingerprints. Nobody's are the same, but they leave them all over everything you do. I just think that's beautiful. And it is so true. When you're in alignment with your values, people around you will be able to feel that and see that from you. That's when you are radiating. So the other thing that it really helps you with is making decisions in your life. So let's say right now, you're like, happy in my career. I'm happy with my relationships. And I just want to grow. I just want to expand. I just want to learn more. This is why I'm here. Imagine in a few months' time, you've got a decision to make, or in a year's time, you've got a decision to make. It is like having a checklist that you can say, okay, if I'm going to make this decision, does that align with this? So it's like your code of conduct to take through life. It makes decision-making, goal setting, and embracing change and taking chances so much easier. So I thought I would share, part of, you guys know I do quite a lot with the NLP side of things, neuro-linguistic programming. And I thought it'd be interesting to share this. Let me know if any of you have seen this before, but in a nutshell, this is the NLP communication model. This sits at the very basis of everything which we do in neuro-linguistic programming. So you can see, if you start over on the far right, the external event. I'm just going to give a little nutshell of where values actually sit. So every single moment of the day, you are going about doing whatever it is you're doing. The external events around you, your 5 senses, your visual, so what you're seeing, what you can hear, what you can taste, what you can touch, and what you can feel, your kinesthetic side to you. And each one of those 5 senses takes in an average of 2 million bits of information every second. But here's the thing, you can only process on average 126 bits of information per second. So your filters have to do 3 things. They generalize. This is why sometimes when it starts raining a little bit, we will literally go, oh God, it's a crap day today. generalization, it hasn't got time, it sorts through all of those things, it generalizes. Distort, the other one is distort. That is where if you believe a particular thing to be true, or it's a value for you, and let's say, for instance, a promotion comes through and you have earned that promotion. If you don't feel that you are if you were worthy of that promotion, you can actually distort that and say, yeah, well, it's only because Sue is going on maternity soon. That's the only reason why they've given me that. That's where the mind goes through your values and it distorts it to fit with you. And also delete. That's how it minimizes everything. It deletes a huge part of it. We would literally be on the floor. Our brains wouldn't be able to take it if we were to take in all the information. And then when all of that filters through, it then goes through something called your meta programs. That's made up your entire system of your values, that's up at the top, your beliefs, your belief system, the decisions that you've made, so your experiences and the memories that you've had. So if you imagine anything that you see comes through and the first thing it drops through is your values. That then creates your internal representation. That impacts your state. So that is your emotions, your physiology. And as a direct result, that impacts your behavior. Now, if your beliefs, so we're going to actually be coming on to this on the next session, but when we're coming into the goal setting, if your beliefs are, it's scary to speak in public, and one of your values is you love to stretch your comfort zone, those two are in conflict. The one that is the most protected one, probably it would be the fear-based belief. It can actually push to one side the value. It will go, no, we don't want to do that. It's scary. Remember the last time we did that? Oh yeah, so you get too nervous to do it. I can't do it behavior. Thanks, I'm going to have to pass on doing that presentation. I'm just too nervous. So that is an example of how we filter through information on a second by second basis. Let me just check. Yes, that's just there. So your values impact. So you are always looking to match your values to your environment. How fulfilled you are is a key indicator whether your values are being met. So that part of your brain is actually always scanning your environment to look for something that's in alignment. One of the key things that tends to happen for a lot of people that are in misalignment, that aren't aligned to their values, is either they have very overpowering limiting beliefs that distort and then therefore deter you away from aligning with your values. Or a really common one is people just don't know what they are. When we don't know what those values are, that's when we tend to follow the crowd. That's when we tend to people please. That's when we tend to go, and then we will take on lots of things or completely avoid things. So you can grow and evolve when you know your values. You can adapt your choices and your environment to suit. You can check in with your values before making decisions. And when you feel aligned, fulfilled, happy, content, these are just examples. Remember, this is my little interpretation here. Remember, always go with yours. Examples like that are indicators that you are meeting your values and needs. So just another little example here is I used to work with recovering alcoholics and drug addicts. And one of the first things I would do with them is get their values. And when it actually came to recognizing, is their environment aligned to their soul values? I'm sure you can imagine, complete clash. But was their belief worthy of aligning to their values? Their belief system tended to not be congruent to that. So in the past, what was happening is they were falling into the trap of being in an environment that doesn't support them. Does that make sense? The same can happen with jobs. So if you have particular values of, I would love to be able to give back, I would love to have flexibility and freedom, I want to be my own boss, I want to be creative, I want to be able to travel. Let's say those are values, and yet your belief system, possibly imprinted, could be you've got to have safety and security, and only a 9 to 5 will give you that. It might be another belief of it's not maintainable. It could be another belief of you wouldn't be good enough. So therefore, you may have your values here, but if your beliefs have been overpowering, can you see how those values just won't be met? You might try something. I see a lot of people try to set up their own business, and then they flurry it away. Oh, no. And they go, it's too hard. People won't buy it. The market's saturated. I hear everything. But what's happening is their beliefs aren't matching their values. And in most cases, they don't know what their values are. So that's when you can start to match your environment. So I'm just going to carry on for 1 second about say, running your own business. If you wanted to start switching that up, rather than on a Friday after work, going to the pub for one and you're just mingling with the co-workers, look for networking events where other like-minded business owners go. Join Facebook groups, join LinkedIn groups, join webinars, do courses, fill your mind, study the people. This is a big thing with NLP. Study the people that are doing what you've done, because there's a way. Somebody else has done it, you can blink and do it. So it's about adapting and clear on those values, clear on your beliefs, which I'm really excited to do. And then we swish them away, and then we align to our values. Can I just get a yes if this is exciting, if it makes sense? You can tell I'm very enthusiastic about this part. Yes, awesome. So we're going to come on to the first exercise. I'm guessing you've got the workbook in front of you, so feel free to just have a little read through as we go. So I'm not reading it all. But we're going to now do the first sort of stage of a values elicitation. So values aren't selected, they're discovered. We don't choose our values necessarily, but your values will reveal them to you. We can actually reflect and look at what makes you tick, what is a must for you. They are deeply embedded within. So some of your current values may not be yours. We've covered that. So standard elicitation. The question that I'm going to ask, and I am going to play some chill out music. Feel free to mute it if it's not your thing, or ask questions as we go. Don't worry about going in the chat. Just jump straight on and ask if you wish. But I'm going to ask the question, what's important to you about? So we're just going to start by just brain dumping down whatever comes to you. Then you're going to go through each thing. What's important to you about career? What's important to you about finances, health and fitness, personal growth, spirituality? So we're going to have a good, I'm going to say like 3 songs on this, coming up to 10 minutes. So take your time, get filling those in. If you finish before, jump in the chat and we'll have a little chat. I will pop them in here for you, my little girl. There we go. Sandra, I've just popped them in there. Awesome. And Chris has just joined us. Hi, my darling. So if you want to just whiz through the workbook onto page 2, you can always have a little bit of a catch up just with the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes a little later on or something. But we're just going through the standard elicitation of what's important to you about. And then just start to write down whatever comes to you, what's important to you about career, finances, if you've got the workbook there and there. If not, I've just popped them into the chat. There's 7 sections in total. So these don't necessarily have to be values right now. We're looking for stories, ideas, feelings, thoughts, keywords. completely forgot that they there's the list on there. There you go, you can see them. So only in your own time, once you have had that chance to just explore and clear the mind of all the different areas, it's really powerful to do, getting clear on all the areas. So let's say it might not be relationships, might not be something that you are really going to be focusing on during this program, but it's so powerful to check in and see what's important to you in all areas before we sort of home in a little bit more. So only when you're ready, we're going to then do the actual values elicitation. So I know some of you will have already started writing down your keywords or what feels right for you, but we're going to really funnel this down now. What I'm going to recommend that you do is choose one particular area to do that on. So it might be life. It could just be you in general life. It might be if you're here to really get clarity on something around career or business, it could be that. Health and fitness, personal growth, spiritual, it could be any of these. If you wanted to, you could literally go away, re-watch and redo this with every single one if you wanted. You'll probably see loads of them will overlap. Lots and lots will overlap. But I'm going to recommend now that you choose one particular one. Once you are done with the other exercise, and just pop it in the chat. So again, there's no rush if you're still doing the other part. But if you were to choose one. So life is the most common when you choose to do your values. It tends to be about you and just life in general. But if you are here for a specific thing that which you're looking for to get clarity on or create goals around or get a specific outcome, then it would be good for you to do the values around that. Michelle, good. Relationships, this will be really powerful. So I'll explain this once and then I'll come on to it again, just in once everyone's done. But on that next page, okay, good, yes. On this next page, we are now going to start working through eliciting 10 values. If you have more, fantastic, because we are going to be bringing it down to your top 5. In fact, I would actually recommend that you push to try to get to that 20. The more you can get, the more of a deep dive you're going into who you are, you're making, and your soul goals. And you can see on the next page that there's a good exercise there to get you thinking back to meaningful moments and peak experiences. So let's say for Michelle, relationships. What was a meaningful moment for you in the past? What was happening to you or around you? What was going on? How did you feel? So thinking back to particular positive times in your life in that area can really help to pull out those values. You will see further down that there's almost like a little bit of a cheat sheet that's got an example of a load of values. I'm actually going to recommend that you don't look at them. If you have already, don't worry, but try not to sit. What some people tend to do is, oh, that sounds good. The conscious brain starts choosing them rather than the unconscious mind surfacing them. So try not to go down there. If you really are stumped and you're like, no idea, have a look for some ideas, see what resonates. Oh, it's good. We've got some different ones. So Michelle, relationships. Natalie, career. It was Chris, life in general. But if I had to pick one, it's health and fitness. Okay, so this is good. You can bear in mind then that health and fitness in your life. You can always bring those two together. They're so aligned. Sandra, health and fitness, fantastic. Is it usually that I find, is it usual that I find it hard to go back to a time when I had a relationship that was how I want to be? Not at all. So what I would recommend for this then, Michelle, is simply a peak experience for you. It might be just a time when you think about a relationship that you want, what's the essence? How do you want to feel? Is it loved? Is it you want to feel alive? Do you want to feel powerful? Do you want to feel understood? So maybe start to have a think about some of those values, then use the value, whatever comes through, to think, okay, what was a meaningful moment when I felt heard, I felt seen, I felt loved? And I will say, because this can happen, if you're like, I don't know, I've never experienced that before, what could that feel like for you? That would definitely be the last option, I would say. But these are just examples. You might have the more already in there. You might not need that. So again, feel free to pop in the chat, to jump on. More than happy to like talk through these with you. More than welcome to. Let me know, one last thing before then I'll keep quiet so you can concentrate. Let me know when you are onto the group them together section. You'll see what I mean. It's on page 6. Just drop a I'm done or something in the chat. Going to jump in and add. What you may find is as you're going through and adding more, the ones towards the bottom actually tend to be the deep-rooted ones. So if you're looking and you're like, oh, well, I've got 10, keep going. So we'll just have another couple of minutes. But those of you who have done, have a little read onto the part where it talks about grouping them together. You may find that yours are completely different at first, but actually if you were to look, what you'll tend to find is you might go, oh, well, is there much difference between freedom and adventure? And if there isn't a huge difference for you, which one is the greater pull? Which one could you not live without? And then bring them into a little category. And then what we're looking for from there is the one that jumps out at you. It represents the others. You couldn't be without. I love that, Chris. You're so aware of who you are. It's fantastic. So if you have done that, the idea, and again, I am actually going to invite anyone, if you want to come on and just have a bit of a chat with me about it, like what's come through to you? What would you say are your main ones? If you're a bit stuck on them, or if they're not really jumping out at you, feel free to just unmute and have a little chat. Of course, the powerful thing is I'm going to recommend that you do this in 6 to 12 months time, and you do it again and you check in with yourself. But whilst you're doing your goal setting and no doubt going to be taking more aligned action over the next coming weeks and months, you want to have these by the side of you. you may wish to simply scan through. This is what I did the last time I did them. I scanned through and I went with my gut. Pandemic has definitely shifted people's values. Chris, okay, so relationships, fun, freedom, health, peace. Oh, how does that feel? How does that feel to have your values there? And I take it, is that in the order 1 to 10? 1 to 5, sorry. The relationships, fun, freedom, health, peace. You let us know, Chris. If not, feel free to put them in your order 1 to 5. I am going to invite you to either jump on and share or share in the chat. This is like, boom, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. Relationships, love, happiness, trust, certainty, friendship.
That's
wonderful. How does that feel?
I had 30 core values when I didn't have any at the beginning. Isn't that weird?
Wow.
Like I looked back and I had 30. I was like, oh my God.
This is amazing. Well freaking done.
But they all linked in together. And when you said the group them together, I was like, I don't know what you're on about. Like they're all different. And then they weren't. There was a lot of them that were, which is how I came to those 5, because there was the odd one that was just on its own.
Right.
But the ones that were all similar, I then went with the one that stuck out to me. Like I had happiness, fun, joy, that kind of, like funny, like things like that.
Yeah.
No, it was very powerful.
Oh, that's really cool. So what I am going to recommend that you do, if you finished right now, please, I am going to email as well. But if you wish to, pop me over a little message on Facebook if you've finished with your values, just because I'm going to create you a little screensaver picture. You might want to print it. It's just something. I'm going to create it tomorrow for you to have on your phones. You can print, you can keep it, you can check it every day, you can set an alarm with them on. We want to be honing in and owning and reminding ourselves. A great way to picture going back to, so Chris, I'm going to bring you on quick, Chris, and I can explain this to you a little as well. Have you had your hair done? Looks beautiful. There we are. Hello.
Yes, I had it done today.
Oh, really suits
Fresh
you.
from the hairdressers.
Oh, beautiful. Really suits you. So
Thank you.
Go on. So tell me a little bit about yours. Is that in the order, the relationships?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought it was, because I just thought I'd written them down, but then when I've gone back and looked, I thought, no, that isn't the order. That's right. And I found it much easier. I can remember doing this a couple of years ago with you, and things being everywhere and nothing connected together. And I couldn't believe it when I wrote them down on the other page and then turned over, and it was like, well, yeah, they all fit together. They all fit together. And it was like, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And the key thing now, because what we were talking about up at the beginning, I'm going to recommend that when we send the replay out, you just catch the first 15 minutes. But we were talking about, and this is for everyone, we talked about how we filter information and how our values are like locked into our minds. And if you were to see, if you may have heard me give this example before, but I like to picture like this little gatekeeper. And if the gatekeeper like has names, imagine like a bouncer then, or on a door.
Yeah.
And if he has your values written down, if anything comes towards you or is in your environment that's on that register, you'd be like, yep, you can come in. If it's not written down, then it could be like, no. It really helps to keep out of your mind and your energy what isn't aligned with you. I do like to picture this like bouncery, I don't know why I said with that. He's half warrior with a spear. He's got sunglasses on. It's got like female long hair. It's completely fictitiously beautiful. But the more that we can really drill in our values, it also acts in terms of the law of attraction. your particular activating system will start to look. So that just kind of marries together the very beginning part to how it works with the values. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
So Pip, because yours was personal development, wasn't it? Yes, fantastic. And Pip's positivity, compassion, fun, integrity, and freedom. Passion, fun, integrity. Oh, though each one has one or two others that link to them. Beautiful. That is really, really beautiful. And I suppose more career, actually. Yeah, I was going to say those two will no doubt intertwine for you. Fabulous. Natalie, career, make difference, thrive, motivation and energized, creativity and appreciation. Oh, love these. So if you can just make a little note, sometimes it does save the chat automatically, but if not, feel free to just spam me over dead quick, copy and paste, send me your values once just come through. And like I said, I will be sending out tomorrow just a personal little inbox with a little design one for you. So if you haven't already, write down your 5 there. And I want you to place your hand on your heart as you read them and breathe them in. It sounds crazy, but promise you, do it, read it, breathe it in, and actually think, how does it feel when you're looking at your values? How does it feel? Does it excite you? Does it feel like, yes? Or is it like, oh, this explains a lot? You may feel different emotions internally. And the next question, how aligned are you to your values personally and professionally? So depending on what area you've gone with, how aligned are you? We're going to be coming on to that in a sec. But if you were to think on a scale of like 1 to 10, how aligned are you? And a question that I'm going to get you to reflect on over the coming week as well as now, but how can you incorporate more of your values into your everyday life, like right now? Yes, we're going to be looking at goals. Yes, we're going to be looking at inspired action and possible incredible changes in life. We never know what's going to come through these programs. But how can you start like waking up tomorrow and tuning into that? So I'll quickly choose one. So positivity. So Pip, I know you, and I know that you have got that beautiful, light, uplifting energy to be around. What extra could you do, or how could you bring more positivity into yourself and into your life? So start to have a little think, everyone. Is it something you could wake up to and listen to a certain playlist that lights you up? Is it something in the workplace? Is it something physical, mental, spiritual? I know for me, doing my card readings. So I actually did my values today. I'm on a course this week, and bizarrely, values was the one today. Blew my mind. And so I got to do my values, and my first one was expansion. Like, I never even knew that that word was even in my mind anywhere. And that's what it came down to. And I realized I do my card readings, I expand the awareness of what could be, and I help other people expand. And I was like, oh my God, and it's never come up before. So I know from doing that today, sticking to doing my card readings or holding my crystals makes me feel expansive. So what could you do? You have to wait. What could we do more of? So now we're coming on to the wheel of life. So on the next page, now we have recognized you, what lights you up. I'm pretty sure majority of you will have done the wheel of life, if not with me at some point, but I will explain. So let me just see. Don't think, yes, so we've got that one there. Okay. So the wheel of life, you should have in front of you. What I'm going to recommend that you do, does anyone not have it in front of you? Drop me a little message if not. But what we want to be going around doing is, if you see that in the middle is number 1, that is unfulfilled or unsatisfied or not aligned. Do whatever feels right for you. And all the way out on the outside is 10. Hell yes, aligned, satisfied, fulfilled. And I want you to just go around now, using your gut. You're very in flow and in tune now. Health, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Career and business. And we're on about now. So we're just going to take a minute or two to do this very quick exercise. Once you have done that, if you wish to, you can join them together. So you do get a little wheel. And what this is going to give you is a bird's eye view of your overall life right now. And then have a think, the area that you just chose to do your values in, does that number, does that what you can see, does that signify and align with those values? So what you may find, say if somebody chose health and well-being, let's say, as a value, and you've got really clear on your values, yet health is a number 5. Again, complete example. What you can then start to see is, okay, maybe I am out of misalignment. There's a few values that are no doubt not being met. So it's just really good to recognize where you are now. And then we want to be reflecting at the end of the 8 weeks and then again in the future. And the goal is to expand your overall wheel of life so it flows continuously. We don't have many flat tires. From time to time we do, that is life, but you've got the skills and knowledge to expand it. So if you wish to, you can always write your 5 values around the segment that's most aligned. Like, you will notice that, but like, you can write your values down every single day, tattoo them on you, like maybe not permanent because they may change. But so if it was health, around the space around it, feel free to write down your values. And what you may start to see, so say if health, a value was exercise or commitment or movement, yet health is a lower number, you can start to let the mind explore, okay, well, I know my values that, and it's not being met. That's evidence because I'm not fulfilled or satisfied where I am. What can I start to do? The mind problem solves. So it will see the gap. If you've done career and business, for example, and it's thriving, then it will continue to seek out more of that. Okay, so we're going to be ending now with it is only a short visualization exercise, but it's a really powerful one. And this is a one that we just want to get the imagination and the juices flowing. I am also going to be sending out tomorrow let me just see. In fact, I'll tell you about that after. Let's just concentrate on this exercise. Okay. So can I just double check? Has everyone done their wheel of life? Either give us a thumbs up. Thumbs, 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 thumbs. Good stuff. Beautiful. And this is very much for you to keep checking in. If you wish to, I would love to see these. If you wish to take a photo of it and send it over to me, you guys know the more I can see and feel and hear, I can pour more into this experience with you. So if you wish to after, feel free to send me a little screenshot. I can just see where you are in terms of your values then. So this next exercise, I'm going to be inviting you to sit back. I'm sure you know the score by now. Get comfy. And you can begin, if you wish to, you can turn your camera off. But I just want to make sure that you are sat or laid back and get fully comfortable now. And just beginning to bring your awareness to your breath. Wonderful. And I want you to begin now as you're focusing on your breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, just releasing any tension, anything that you may have been holding on to from the day or week gone by. Just taking that time to really be at one with where you are right now. With your eyes closed if you wish. And I want you to begin to bring to the forefront of your mind anything that you do or anything that you have within you that doesn't align to your values. This may be habits, fears, negative desires, any temptations, past regrets, limiting beliefs, insecurities, all of it. Imagine it all as it takes on another entity. Someone who looks like you, but embodies all of either those negative things that you don't like or the opposite to what your values are. And imagine that that entity now is standing up from your chair and walking across the room as she turns around and looks back at you. Notice now as you look at that version of you, realize that all of those qualities were there for a purpose. They served you through certain situations. They helped you to cope or helped you to learn. Thank her for serving you as best as she could in those situations now. Send gratitude and understanding. Tell that old you that you love her. Feel the love inside your body for the old you, because you've grown beyond it. Hear that old you saying back, I love you. Tell the old you, I accept you. I forgive you unconditionally. Feel that now, realizing that anything that was done or said was what they thought was the best choice at that time. And now you've grown. You've grown beyond it. And say, I forgive you, and feel the unconditional forgiveness as they say back now, I accept you and I forgive you unconditionally. I want you to imagine now that the shell around that body becomes transparent. And inside you can see a dark, dirty fluid filling the shell. Tell the old you, I release you. And notice as little valves in the fingers and toes open up and that old fluid drains out of the fingertips and toes. See that pouring out now onto the ground where it can return to positive source energy. And once that is emptied, imagine a bright orange, strength cleaning light as it beams down from the skyward, down through the crown of their head, filling that body from the very crown of the head down to the tips of the toes. This light fills the body like fluid and scrubs, rinses, and cleanses the entire inside of that body, removing any impurities. As the valves open in the fingers and toes, all of that cleansing orange fluid drains out onto the ground, where it can return back to positive source energy. And now bring to mind your values. Don't worry if you can't remember each one. This is about feeling those values within you. And imagine as that new body in front of you takes on those values. See them lock into place now, like the sound of a car door shutting. You embody each and every value. Notice how the demeanor changes. Notice how the persona awakens and it takes on the new physiology of that person, of each and every value. And imagine now a white, bright light coming down from skyward, the loving light of the universe, filling that body with all of those qualities and any other qualities that you want for yourself. Watch as it tops off and the outer shell begins to resemble the new you. Looking out through your eyes, stand up and face that new you. And walk towards it and go and step into the new body. Feel as it integrates into you at a cellular level, becoming one now. Feel and hear like a sound of a car door shutting as those values are locked in on a cellular level. Becoming one, looking out through your eyes now. Begin to take a deep breath. Breathe deep, knowing that these values are not only installed within you, but they are awakened and ready to be aligned. Ready for you to live a life of alignment to these. Your unconscious mind fully aware of this change that has taken place now. In your own time, you can just begin to become aware of your surroundings. Have a little stretch and sit up as that new you, with those values aligned within. Good. And you can take another deep breath, have a little stretch, take a drink. And welcome back into the room. Fantastic. If you wish to, I can see Nat smiling. If you wish to, you can jump on and share, or share in the chat. How did you find that?
Powerful.
Did you? Good. Fantastic to hear. Really, really fantastic to hear. So we have come to the end of this session. And what I'm going to set you is a couple of little tasks. So I'm hoping that you are continuing to drink your daily goal intake of water. And I'm actually going to put a selection of just a few more meditations up for you. If you are a member of the Academy, you will no doubt have seen or be familiar with them. I'm going to share some more meditations. So feel free to start to explore more of them. If there's a particular one that you're like, yes, like the 5-minute morning one, keep going with it. And I'm going to send you over a personal inventory. And I'm going to recommend that you complete it before the next session. Now, naturally, the temptation can be 5 minutes before the next session. Oh, crap, I was meant to do. See if you can set some time aside for you. These are very reflective questions that if we were to do them on a session, I'm going to say you're going to need 20 to 30 minutes for it. If we were to do it on a session, I'd be sat here very quiet and you would be doing. So I figured if you could do it between, it's actually going to really help when we come on to the limiting beliefs and the goal setting, which is what we're going to be integrating in next. And thank you to those who have sent me your top 5 values. If you wish to take a picture of your wheel of life, pop it over to me. And of course, if you have any feedback, insights, ideas, what you've enjoyed, what you want more of, please know that this is such an open space. Just drop me an email or a message. Any questions? Anything that anyone would like to share, add? Are you all good? We're feeling good? Ready for the week ahead? Awesome. Awesome. My inbox is always open, and the Facebook group. So sending you so much love. Well done on tonight. And if I don't see you before, I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Good to see
Bye.
you. Take care.